2000 here. I'm coming at you with a retrospective, another retrospective review. I know I did this one with another movie, which was Nightmare on Elm Street, but this is another retrospective review of another movie that I really enjoy, and it's the second movie of Nightmare on Elm Street, Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge. Of course, it's part of with the box set. It's cool that they got the original poster, but it's kind of small as shit that they had it on this DVD cover. But all in all, hopefully we get 4K covers where they have all the posters in full frame versions of the covers of them with the original poster. But of course, this is the DVD edition from that box set. Doesn't really have special features. I know the Blu-ray has special features, but it has all the sequels like jammed up together. Which I hate that shit where you have all the sequels jammed up together. It just kind of feels lazy packaging, but whatever. This is the DVD, and trivia fact: that guy right there is actually a stunt actor. That wasn't Robert Englund, because Robert Englund, he was gonna be back in this movie, but he was like dealing with issues of what money he was getting and the money they were gonna say they were gonna give him. He kind of like said, "Fuck this movie, I'm not doing it." And they got that stunt actor to do that one scene that they were gonna film the whole movie with that stunt actor that was gonna play Freddy, but they didn't like how he just came off as just too bulky and too Frankensteinish, where he just didn't look that really menacing like Robert Englund. So he was only seen in that scene where he kills the was it the PE teacher that's a fucking pervert. Yeah, that's the only scene that's the only time somebody else played Freddy Krueger besides Jackie Earle Haley. Like Jackie Earle Haley wasn't the first person that played Freddy Krueger. It was a stunt actor. I forgot the guy's name, but they explained it in this Never See documentary about number two. They explained that it was actually a stunt guy that was gonna play play Freddy in the whole movie, but they didn't like how the guy worked out, so they got their ways to work back with making a deal with Robert Englund, and the rest is history. He came back to do the rest of the movie. But that was the only time that somebody else played Freddy Krueger. And what leads to another, we get this criminally underrated movie. And of course, the description about the movie: 5 years have passed since Freddy Krueger, Robert Englund, went sent howling back to hell, but now as a new kid on Elm Street is being haunted every night by gruesome visions of deadly stream stalker. And if his twisted soul takes possession of the boy's body, Freddy will return from the dead and wreak bloody murder and mayhem and havoc upon the entire town. When Nightmare on Elm Street made a killing, horror fans shriek more. Soon, the diabolical Freddy was resurrected with a vengeance, along with some of the most terrifying special effects to ever splatter the screen. Look for Robert Englund's minus his Freddy face in the opening sequence of the opening sequence. He's a real scream. And yeah, he does appear in the opening of the movie as a bus driver. You only see like a glimpse second of his face because the credit kind of goes in the because there's an opening credit and it gets into his face, so you kind of like see it for like 2 seconds, and boom, the credit goes in the way of his face, like because he's like seeing at the people that are leaving, like the teenagers, they're getting off the bus, and he's like waving them by, and you only see him for 2 seconds. His face appears as the bus driver. But yeah, this movie gets a lot of shit on. Some people say that this for a while. People said this was the worst movie. I'm like, seriously, like this is up there with Child's Play 3 and Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3. Like those movies get a lot of shit on. Like a lot of people say those are the worst fucking movies in those franchises. Like, fuck out of here with that. I know everybody's entitled to their opinion, but I think they're not that shitty at all. And for a while, this movie was considered one of the gayest horror movies. Everybody made fun of it, how stupid it was. They thought it was a dumb movie, didn't make any sense. It was so gayish. No, I really did not find nothing about this being too gayish of a movie. Of course, you get the undertones a bit, but it's only in there for like a minute or two. Like you don't get like the whole fucking movie. Like, oh, Jesse is gay throughout this movie, being all weirded out. No, he's not that. Even though he does like the dance scene, of course, I would admit it is a ridiculous scene, but it's only like a minute of a stupid dance scene. Like whatever, it goes by. It's not like it doesn't bother me because that was like the one scene that really bothered a lot of people. Like, what the hell was that? It didn't bother me. Even people got annoyed with Jesse screaming like a girl. Of course, he didn't do a bad job screaming because you know what? There's stuff that I would scream seeing in front of me, like Freddy doing the brain. You got the body, I got the brain, and then you get Jesse screaming like ah, like that, and then Freddy's like laughing, ha 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 ha. Like a lot of people make fun of his scream, like because he screams like a girl. It's cool. He sounds like a pretty cool screamer. You know what? There were scenes that yeah, you don't need to. Because a lot of times when I see screaming in movies, I like horror movies, but a lot of times when I hear too much of it, it kind of irritates the fuck out of me when I see it in movies. But I think it worked here with I think it worked here with Jesse screaming in terror. And Mark Patton didn't do a bad job. A lot of people say that he was a shitty character, like Jesse was a shitty character. Mark Patton was bad in the movie. No, Mark Patton was really good. I really enjoyed his performance. Mark Patton didn't do an awful job. He's he's a pretty good, capable actor. It sucks that he went hiatus from acting after this. And he would go on to do that Scream Queen documentary. Was really good. Got that really good slipcover Blu-ray edition of it at Vinegar Syndrome's website. I really think that's a really great slipcover that it came with. Definitely my favorite slipcover from Vinegar Syndrome. Never Sleep. Well, not Never Sleep. I mean, Scream Queen documentary that it centers around Mark Patton and Nightmare on Elm Street 2. Great documentary. I really enjoyed it. Highly recommend folks check it out. I think it's on Tubi for free. But yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street 2. I think it went go on to gross a lot of money in the box office. Like it was a bigger hit than Nightmare on Elm Street, the first one, because that's what the sequels would do. They would go on to be bigger hits one at a time, except like movies that would suck in the theaters. Like I, I think Five, which is the Dream Child, that one started tanking in theaters. I don't know about Freddy's Dead. I don't know how New Nightmare went, but I know Freddy's versus Jason made money because after New Nightmare, we wouldn't get Freddy until like Jason Goes to Hell, and then appearing as the Hand, and then he would appear in Freddy vs. Jason, which I think Freddy vs. Jason made money, and that was a great theater experience to go see Freddy vs. Jason. But Nightmare on Elm Street 2, I think this movie is criminally badass. Sequel, horror sequel, whatever everybody want to call it. I think this is a badass sequel of all time. And I think this movie doesn't deserve all the hate it gets. Like this movie's a lot fucking better than Seed of Chucky. This is a lot better than Exorcist 2. This is a lot better than fucking what do you call it? Well, it's gonna be the last I'm mentioning it because I'm not gonna mention sequels because the reason why I'm calling this is a badass sequel. It's only one time I'm gonna mention it. Halloween Ends. Fuck that movie up its ass. This movie kicks the shit out of it. Oh no, Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge, criminally underrated badass film, and it stars Mark Patton, Kim Myers. Well, because Mark Patton plays the character Jesse, who's the lead. Kim Myers plays his girlfriend Lisa. Pretty hot actress. She kind of resembles Meryl Streep. That's why a lot of people thought she was Meryl Streep for a bit. The way she looks and resembles of Meryl Streep. But yeah, that she's a pretty good looking actress. Like and she does her part really well. She plays pretty good as his girlfriend, and her acting isn't even that bad. It's pretty good acting by her playing the character Lisa. You get Robert Russler playing his dipshit friend Grady. You guys know Robert Russler from Weird Science to Sometimes They Come Back to Vamp to uh Thrashing. Robert Russler is a pretty good actor. Yeah, hopefully one day Sean Clark and him does Horror's Hologram, or if I don't know if Sean Clark does Horror Holograms anymore, but hopefully they do Nightmare on Elm Street too, because I know they did that segment when Screen Factory would release the first few Horror Hologram segments on the special features. They would both come, they would both encounter each other, and Robert Lester would get all pissed at Sean Clark. The fuck? Why are you not doing Nightmare on Elm Street 2? Like really funny skits that they would do. I think they even did a skit with even like the gym teacher, the character Schneider. That's from the second movie. They even do a skit with him. And okay, boys, assume the position, doing the push-ups. like those segments with Sean Clark and Robert Russell are fucking hilarious. Those were a lot of they were comedy gold. And of course, you get Clue Gallagher, rest in peace, Clue Gallagher from Return of the Living Dead and Feast. He plays Jesse's asshole dad. And Hope Lane, she plays Jesse's mom. And Robert Englund playing once again Freddy Kruger. And it's directed by Jack Shoulder. You guys know Jack Shoulder. He directed Alone in the Dark, which is a really good underrated slasher film. And of course, New Line Cinema continued doing the sequels. And this movie was the highest grossing movie, which leads to the other sequels getting made. And this came out the same year as Friday 13 Part 5, New Beginning. And of course, this was a movie that got shit on. Part 5, Friday 13 Part 5 gets shit on. So like, wow. Like two movies that I think are underrated get shit on in 1985. But of course, 1985, you would get Back to the Future. But that's for a review for another day. But Nightmare on Elm Street starts off with Jesse having a dream sequence where it opens off with the logo Freddy Revenge, Nightmare on Elm Street 2. Opening credits of all the cast and producers that are being involved. You get the cameo by Robert Englund as the bus driver. All the kids are getting off from school, off the bus, from different stops until the last few students that are the last ones in the bus are Robert Englund as the driver, two girls and Jesse. That's the only ones who are there until like the Robert Englund bus driver dude doesn't stop for the girls stop, and they keep driving into the field, and the cloud starts forming, rain and thunder, and then not slowly but wholly, the bus driver starts forming into Freddy Krueger, where he has the hat and the sweater, and he starts having the glove, and he's like pushing in the ignition, and boom, driving into a dark area where the floor is falling down and sucking through, and they're only standing on a big ledge of a rock, and that's like balancing the bus, and it's the pits of hell that's down there. Like, oh fuck. And one of these, another Freddy comes out, does his iconic laugh, and slowly but wholly squeezes his knife through the seats and screeching into the top of the roof and slashes through them until Jesse wakes up screaming and wakes up, interacts with his parents, he picks up Lisa to take her to school. One needs to know that they have a baseball game. Grady's being an asshole to him. Like Grady's being an asshole to him, like fucking around, putting his pants down, pantsing him, and they get into a scuffle until the asshole P coach Snyder comes and breaks it off, and makes him do sit-ups, not sit-ups, I mean push-ups as like punishment. And of course, Robert Lessler and Mark Penn have a great exchange. How long he's gonna keep us out here? It could be all day. He likes pretty boys like you. Oh, come on, Brady. And then he starts explaining like, oh, this dude, Snyder, he likes to go into S&M joints. Of course, they get to know about the house when Jesse tells him, "Oh, we bought this house, and it's the Nightmare on Elm Street house that Freddy would disturb Nancy in it in her dreams from the first movie." So one leads to another, they get attacked. Pretty much Jesse gets attacked in one dream sequence nightmare where he's going downstairs to drink orange juice, but it falls and breaks through the floor, trying to clean it until he gets distracted by somebody lurking through the shadows of the window. And he goes outside to see, and then he sees like a furnace turning on, and he sees that's the basement, and it's Freddy grabbing his glove from a furnace. And Jesse goes back in the house, sees through the basement, sees Freddy's shadow, and he closes right away. And he calls his dad, and Freddy's trying to open the door until he encounters Freddy outside the door. Daddy can't help you now. Shh. I need you, Jesse. We got special work to do here, you and me. Pushes him and grabs him by the chest. You got the body. I got the brain. Squeezing his head off, like squeezing the skin off his skull and showing his brain. And Jesse screams real fucking loud, like he's terrified, like ah. And then Freddy's laughing at him. So like that's one of his first nightmares that he's having in the house. And of course, he gets pranked by Grady with the snake in the school, and then he has to clean up his room because his dad tells him clean up before you go. Of course, he gets helped out by his girlfriend Lisa, and then they start reading this diary, and it turns out this diary belongs to Nancy. And they start reading about who Freddy is, and it starts freaking out Jesse. And Jesse starts waking up all sweaty and really scared. And he gets up to see what's going on. Freddy tells him, "Go ahead, Jesse. Put it on. Try for your size. Kill for me." Of course, he's like, he finds the glove in the furnace and then he throws it. No, I'm not doing it. He falls and trips and Freddy disappears. Only the glove is still there in front of him. And of course, he hides the glove. And now, was it Lisa's the one that's trying to investigate what this diary is about with Nancy? What's about Freddy Krueger? And she finds more information about him, that he's a killer. He killed a lot of children, like 20 of them in his boiler room. They go to the boiler place to see where he used to work at and to see if he has any signs or phenomena that's going on in him. They get jump scared by a rat, and then Freddy might almost tries to kill Jesse's little sister, but he reluctantly stops that from happening. And then Jesse wakes up one day, which is another night, and he gets into a bar, which is obviously a gay leather bar. And Bob Shea, who is one of the film producers of this movie, because he produces a lot of the movies from the Nightmare on Elm Street films, he makes a cameo as this bartender dude that's in leather clothes and shit. And Jesse asks him, "Can I have a beer?" And of course, he just gives him a beer instead of asking for his ID. Like, what the fuck? Of course, he's about to drink until he's stopped by the coach from the PE class. Like, of course, Grady mentioned him that he was in one of those S&M joints because earlier they were talking about it when they were getting pressure into like sit-ups, and then of course and also they made fun of Snyder, calling him, he's got to stick up his ass. Snyder always got to stick up his ass. Hello, dirt balls. Makes him do some more sit-ups, and then, but of course, that scene is we're in the gay bar. He's about to drink beer until he's stopped by Snyder, and he's like weirdly smiling at him. Makes him go to the fucking school and makes him do a lap. Pushes him to say, get into the showers. And he wants him to do like a bunch of jump ropes and shit, like weird stuff. Until like Freddy notices, which a lot of people do not realize what this story was even about. Like a lot of people don't get like why the fuck was he getting his ass spanked and shit? Because of course the invisible force of Freddy would like throw him a lot of the equipment and the sports and shit. And what leads to another, he gets dragged by the jump ropes and they tie him down, swinging him to like the showers, tying him down, ripping his clothes off, spanking his ass with the towels. And a lot of people don't realize, because some people thought that shit was stupid and it didn't make any sense. I'll give you details, guys. The reason why Freddy was doing that shit to the coach is because, first of all, the coach was weird. Like, why the fuck would he bring him to the showers and take him to the school by himself? Like, they would be like the only two there by themselves. It's because it makes a lot of sense. But I can't say that word, the P word. I'll just say a little bit because the PE teacher's a pedo. It makes sense why he's getting his punishment by Freddy like that. It's not like, oh, it's like nothing sexual about it. It's like, of course, it's something sexual about being a pedo, but it's like he's getting his comeuppance, like, because the PE teacher is secretly a pedo. And I got that great explanation when I saw that video about CZ Worlds. You guys know who CZ World is? He did the explanation about that in Nightmare on Elm Street 2. So now that makes sense why it's not like because it's being silly or being stupid with that. Oh, the towels are spanking his ass and shit. No, he's getting his punishment because he's a fucking pedo. The character is being a fucking pedo to Jesse, and that's why he gets his ass spanked with the towels. And of course, Jesse sees this and forms with a fog cloud until it forms into Freddy, which is the only scene that has this other actor that plays Freddy Kruger, not Robert Englund, coming closely to him and grabs his claws and says, the coach keeps saying, no, and then boom, slashes his motherfucking back, bleeding the fuck out and dying. Jesse sees this and screams in terror, and one leads to another. Jesse doesn't know what happened. He's freaked out because Freddy possessed him from doing it. Of course, he's found by cops, taking him home. The dad's an idiot. He thinks that Jesse's on drugs, but he's not. He's just scared and has nightmares. And Freddy's out there, motherfucker. And of course, you get a silly scene with the bird scene that explodes. That's a scene that doesn't make any sense. Like, did Freddy possess that bird? Like, that's the thing I would like to see more explanation about the damn bird being exploded. Like, was the bird high on PCP or some shit, and that's why he murdered the other bird? I don't know. It fucking attacked the other bird and killed it, and then they started going crazy on the family, attacking Jesse's dad, and even like exploding at the end. Like, was that like a PCP bird or some shit? It was a high or something. And of course, Jesse's dad doesn't give a shit. And of course, his mom thinks that he needs help, psychiatry help. And his dad says, no, he's not in trouble. What that boy needs is a good goddamn kick in the butt. That's what he needs. You know what I tell what he needs? He needs a mental clinic. And of course, he goes back to take the bars off the windows, and he almost fucking slipped by accident. Like, that was a funny slip right there. Of course, Jesse and Lisa are driving to school, and they notice this ambulance, and Robert Russell's character Grady comes and tells them, hey, where you been? Snyder got wasted last night. He was working late. Somebody came out from the woodwork and sliced him off like Tabasa. Had bloody footprints all over the place. He fucking killed Snyder a lot with bloody footprints around. And of course, it freaks out Jesse for a bit, but he doesn't like exaggerating about it. But he knows, like, oh shit, I was there. Of course, the music is pretty creepy. It goes on to be really creepy throughout. Lisa has her party. Jesse's not in the mood. Of course, you get that thing where he's not into her. He's more into his friend. Which they explain that theme about it, but it's only like for a bit. But of course, he doesn't want to be there, so he wants to leave. But he kind of just makes out with Lisa for a bit, and of course, he has a nightmare moment where, of course, he was caressing about her, caressing about her titties, and then, boom, Freddy is a horn, because Freddy's a horn dog. He's a pervert. Gets his giant ass tongue and starts licking around Lisa's titties and stuff until boom, it zooms back into Jesse's mouth when he's like all freaked out, like with his eyes like, what the fuck? And of course, it freaks out Jesse, so he leaves, meets up with his friend Grady, who didn't go to the party because he was grounded. So he wants to just stay at his friend's house so he could be safe until Grady's like tired watching TV, so he says, "Good night, pal. See well, pal." And then boom, the music starts amping up, being crazy and creepy and scary. And Jesse starts waking up, telling Grady is having it again, and boom, he starts feeling like gut punches into his stomach. And Grady's like not know what the hell is going on with him. He's like saying, "The fuck is wrong with you, dude?" And of course, Jesse has his hands up like this, and the knives are coming out of his nails, and his skin is removing. It's tearing up, and you see Freddy's clothes, his sweater, out of his skin. And of course, his hand is starting to rip apart because it's Freddy's hands coming through his skin and ripping. A really brutal effect. And of course, Grady is getting scared the shit out, yelling for his dad, "Dad! Dad, open the door! Dad!" And Jesse howls and screaming, and you see Freddy's eyes are moving out of his mouth when it's open. And of course, Freddy comes out of his chest and squeezing, and then the knife of his hand slices the head out, and that's how Freddy gets out. And he squeezes out of Jesse's chest, and like boom, like it's like if he's being reborn. Definitely a disturbing fucking scene. Which that includes to another disturbing part is where he gets out of Jesse's body and Grady's like banging on the door, yelling for his dad, "Dad!" Like good acting by Robert Ressler with his terror of yelling in the background and being scared and banging on the door because the door is locked and he can't, even though it's unlocked, but he's like stuck. He can't get it open. And of course, Freddy gets up and he's fucking demonic. Like before you got that demonic Freddy Krueger in New Nightmare, you got a really demonic, scary looking Freddy Krueger right here. Where Freddy Krueger gets up, his face is all darkened, like there's no light over it. Because it keeps it when when you don't have no light on him and his part of his face is all covered with the shadows and stuff, he looks disturbing as fuck. Like he looks like the fucking devil. And of course, Grady's trying to yell, trying to get out, calling his dad. His dad's by the door yelling for him, "Open the damn door, son." Freddy puts his fedora hat on, smiling at him, and then walks towards Grady, grabbing him by the throat, picking him up, and jamming his fingernails into Grady's gut, slashing it through his chest and stomach, and it goes through the door where blood comes out of it. Very brutal kill and also a disturbing scene. Like a brutal kill and a disturbing scene at the same time. Like that's the part that scares the shit out of me. Even the music is really disturbing in the background. It makes it so eerie and scary. That's like the one scene that I think is so underrated and so scary in the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise is that moment when the transformation happens and the death scene of Grady. That is like the most scariest scene of the movie. Definitely the disturbing part of the film. And of course, it fucking makes Jesse mad and curses out Freddy. You son of a bitch, you kill him. Throws the knife, that hand glove knife, at the mirror, breaking it with, and now it's Jesse's breaking point of dealing with Freddy. He gets back to Lisa's party. Jesse's all bleeding from his hand. Lisa doesn't know what's going on until she starts telling him about the diary. Crazy shit starts happening at the party. Now he's transforming back as Freddy. Freddy has a fight with Lisa, a scuffle, bites her leg, trying to kill her. And he's like antagonizing Lisa. Kill me, Lisa. Kill me. And even trying to go into Jesse's voice, like, kill me, Lisa. Please kill me. I love you, Lisa. And of course, Freddy wants to kill her, but he's kind of like in the moment with Jesse, like, because Jesse loves her. And of course, he pushes her out of the way after she says, I love you, Jesse. And then, boom, she pushes her out of the way and crashes through the window and disappears until he appears in the party under a furnace and just gets out. And one leads to another, he starts slashing and dicing more people in the party. A lot of people hate this scene, but I think it's a badass scene where he slices and dice more people in the party. People are getting crushed from trying to escape to the party. One person gets burned. One blonde dude is trying to like run through the pool and stuff, and Dreddy just jams his fucking knife into his gut, like boom, just jamming the shit out of it, and just pulls it out. Where the guy's whole gut is like bursting out of blood, and the guy's like, ah, oh, like dying, like crying in death. Like, holy shit, that is really brutal shit. Like this Freddy Krueger, I wish wasn't Freddy versus Jason, because he would have given Jason a run for his money. I wish this was Freddy versus Jason. I wish this Freddy Krueger was in Freddy versus Jason. Like he would take Jason to school, because this Freddy doesn't give a fuck. He is hardcore as hell, and definitely a badass, scary looking Freddy. Of course, he has that iconic, funny scene where he has that idiot dude that's like trying to calm him down. I'm here to help you. Help yourself, fucker. Slices him, throws him across the barbecue to burn that bastard up. And he has the iconic scene where he opens his arms and the fire's behind him. You're all my children now. And of course, Lisa's dad's trying to shoot him, but he has like a really disturbing grin look where you see his rotten teeth, where he's all scary and mad. Of course, he stares at them until he walks away through the wall of the backyard, bursts into flames, and disappears. Lisa knows where he goes, and then she meets him at the boiler room factory place that he killed his victims at with the 20 kids that he killed. He encounters these two dogs, which these two dogs are probably meant to like have these weird human faces that they're probably meant to like have like Grady and Schneider's face on them. Really creepy part. And of course, she encounters like more creepy shit with this demonic rat getting eaten by this big demonic rabbit and shit. Definitely a creepy ass part um with pretty good creature effects on there. And of course, she encounters Freddy. And the scenery around the furnace boiler room area looks really eerie and so creepy to be around that area. And of course, she encounters Freddy. Freddy's like, come to me, Lisa. And she's like telling Jesse, break out of him. You're stronger than him. No, Jesse's dead. Jesse. Then she cuts her in the arm, trying to kill her until Jesse says, Lisa, I love you. And then boom, it starts breaking down Freddy after he got that stab wound by Jisa that didn't do nothing, but now it's coming back to him. The wounds are starting to go into his arm, and he's starting to feel weak with the injuries until like she noticed that it's the power of love to defeat him. And one leads to another. The power of love defeats him when she kisses with Freddy, and Freddy thinks that she'll die with him and with him and Jesse in hell. So they have a kiss, a power of love, and boom, it fucks up Freddy by getting burst into flames. And good practical effects where you see his face is all melty and his eyes are falling down. Pretty good boiling, melting effects on Freddy Krueger. And that leads into Freddy getting busted in flames. And then the body starts moving and it's Jesse coming out after Freddy was burned. He's getting out of the charred remains of Freddy, taking a piece of Freddy's body off his face, and Jesse's back. Lisa comes back to him, re-brace with him, hugging him, happy that he's back. All is good. He's reunited with Lisa and her friends at the end of the movie with the bus, and Freddy picks out his hand out of one of Lisa's friends in her chest. His hand comes out of one of Lisa's friends' chest, and that movie ends where it repeats the same shot of the bus going into the dirt area that happened in the beginning of the movie. We don't know what happened. Like, it is kind of a cluster ending. Like, what happened to Jesse and Lisa? Did Freddy got him? Because it doesn't really make a good connection to the third movie, like how that connects. But all in all, even though it's a cluster ending, it doesn't make me mad. I still think this movie works. And I really think this movie is criminally underrated. It's not bad. I think it's up there with underrated sequels that get shit on, like Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, Child's Play 3, Halloween 3. Friday. I'm surprised. Some people don't realize. I hear some sources that my friend David, he says that some people don't like Friday 13 Part 3, which is weird because a lot of people seem to like that movie. And I know there's some people that the reason why they don't like it is because they think Shelly's an annoying character. But I don't mind Shelly. I think he's a fun character, and thanks to him, he was the character that introduced the hockey master Jason. But yeah, it's up there with grimly underrated sequels that kicks ass, and it's a badass fucking film. I don't care what all criticism it gets. This is a lot better than Dream Shower, and a lot better than the Snooze Fest remake. This is a criminally underrated badass film. Definitely one of my favorite sequels in the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. Definitely has the scariest and demonic looking Freddy that kicks ass and would give Jason a run for his money in Freddy vs. Jason. But yeah, that's my retrospective review and on this criminally underrated sequel that's badass, Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge. Hit the like, subscribe, and take care, folks. Take care, buddy. Bye-bye.